the scene, you've been around a long time, like you've commentated on some fights. What is it that brought you to Faze Temperrr?
Well, Faze, the last 2 weeks, him and his team reached out, and we've been working ever since. We got a few sessions in. He came to me in shape. He came to me with a good base. And, he's fundamentally sound, and I've just been adding on and helping him do more of the things he already do good. So, yeah.
So, in terms of working with him, how much can you realistically teach him in 2 weeks?
I wouldn't say teach him anything, but everything that he does that's a good habit, a bad habit, I can help him, you could say, differentiate between the two and try my best to get rid of bad habits, but the things he do well, just make sure we do more of them.
Of course, KSI, this is going to be the biggest challenge of his career. You haven't been around the other couple of fights that Temperrr has had, but how do you feel he stacks up against KSI? Have you watched much tape on him?
Well, I think Temperrr, he's a 6'4" southpaw.
Yeah.
So I think him being focused in a 6'4" southpaw, he can give anybody trouble. KSI is an opponent and a big opportunity that came on last minute as a last replacement. I'm more than happy with the styles. I think his style give KSI problems. But KSI is going to come and try to do what he do.
The crazy thing is, I mean, these guys are like novice level boxers, but this is probably one of the biggest fights you've been. Obviously, you were involved in that great that trilogy fight, but this is right up there with that in terms of how much interest there is.
As far as this world, this is as big as it gets, you can say. I'm more than happy to be here, to be a part of it. I love what these kids is doing. But Faze Temperrr is a 6'4" southpaw. He believes in skill. He has good reflexes. And come Saturday night, we're going to show the world.
When you were working with Deontay when he was fighting Fury, that was the opposite. You had to get the smaller guy ready for the bigger guy.
Yeah, definitely. And the styles make fights. And like I said, Temperrr has the kind of style and the kind of height and the kind of build that if he's focused, he can give anybody trouble. And that's what we plan on doing.
You could not have asked for a better comeback for Deontay, could you?
Absolutely not. I'm extremely proud of Deontay, but there's so much more he have in him, and there's so much more he can do. And I'm expecting even better performances out of him.
Well, you know what's crazy is he's got, people criticize his record a lot. Robert Helenius is a good name on that record.
Yeah, well, Robert Helenius came off of his two most important wins of his career.
That's
Deontay came off of 2 losses, and he has so much time off. So for him to come back and get that knockout in devastating fashion against Helenius like no one else has ever done to Helenius, it says a lot.
It definitely reminded the boxing world that you can lose a couple of fights, but this guy is still one of the best heavyweights in the world.
Especially when you're possessed with something that's God-given power like that.
What is the story with this Anthony Joshua thing? Are you confident that they will fight this year?
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see, man. I want them to fight Deontay's next fight, but obviously, from the look of things, AJ have other plans. He's looking to go other direction, so we want to focus on the things we need to focus on that's best for Deontay.
So if he beats Andy Ruiz, which looks like the next one, then the AJ thing's kind of in the dust, right? Because AJ is off in another realm. He's not a top contender for a world title yet, and Deontay's one fight away from being back in the talks for the 4th.
Yeah, absolutely. But the main focus is not, you could say, like AJ. It's for Deontay to be in the most biggest fights of his career, especially on the second half of his career. If AJ want to fight, we're available every time. If he don't, we'll move on to, you could say, not bigger fights, but better fights.
It definitely seems like Tyson Fury's not opposed to doing number 4 either.
Yeah, well, that's another fight that we want to do for the 4th time. So we'll see. It's a lot of big matches out there. I ain't going to say there's not a lot of big matches out there for Deontay, but it's about 3 or 4, and we are looking to take place with all of them.
How serious of a test is Andy Ruiz, you think?
Andy Ruiz is a serious test, not just for Deontay, but for anybody. But for a disciplined Deontay, in my opinion, Andy Ruiz doesn't even come close to being in the same ring with him because Andy Ruiz, what beats Andy Ruiz? Discipline. Old Ariola gave Andy Ruiz trouble just with discipline. A second Joshua fight against Andy Ruiz, Joshua beat him easily with discipline.
Yeah.
Andrew Ruiz, how do you beat Andrew Ruiz with something that he lacked? Discipline.
You were a great fighter in your day, great coach now. If you I don't know if you love taking these compliments so much. Great analyst as well. If you were looking at the top 5 sort of heavyweights, obviously Tyson number 1, I would think. Obviously, Usyk as well a little bit. Those 2 are the top 2. You can interchange them. You think Deontay number 3?
I think Deontay is number 1. When you talk about as far as the most dynamic heavyweight in the history of the sport, Deontay Wilder is number 1. Yeah, he lost to Fury, but that's the only one they lost to. And Fury barely got by those fights.
Yeah.
you can listen to him talk. He always talking about the bumps in his head, how he feel after those fights. So we'll see what's next.
I mean, Usyk seems like weirdly style. You talk about styles make fights. He beat AJ twice. Seems like stylistically, he's like perfect for Deontay in the sense that like the way he up at heavyweight he gets hit a bit, and you don't want to get hit by Deontay even more time.
Yeah, 1 + 1 is 2. He gets hit. Deontay is the hardest puncher in the history of the sport. And Deontay doesn't have to hit you over and over and over. If you're tough enough to take it, you'll continually to take it. But Usyk is a smaller man, so we'll see how much of it he can take.
Ruiz, Usyk, Joe Joyce, all these people who are out there. Where does AJ rank at this point?
Well, AJ's at the top. I wouldn't say at the top of the list, but you still have to give him credit in the top 3, 5 of the heavyweight division. He has a huge market. He's a good fighter. Nobody put punches together like Anthony Joshua, but I believe Deontay Wilder knocks him out in 3 rounds.
Let's talk again about Saturday night. How confident are you that Temperrr pulls off the upset this time?
I'm extremely confident because, like I said, styles make fights. Temperrr style, he's a 6'4" southpaw with skills, with good reflexes. Does he have some loopholes in his game? Absolutely, like every fighter on this card do. But it's my job to make sure that he stay disciplined, he stay focused, he stay calm, and he just used all the good attributes that he had, which got him to this point right here.
Has KSI made the wrong decision by picking Temperrr out of all the opponents that were there?
Absolutely he did. And we're going to make him pay for it Saturday night.
You predicted a knockout?
I don't know about that. I'm predicting a victory.
Thank you so much for your time.